All right, so get this. Today we're taking a deep dive into something uh, a little different.
Okay.
We're looking at the connection between personal finance
Mm-hmm.
and faith.
Interesting.
We found this YouTube video, you guys.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
called Free Yourself from Debt with These Powerful Scriptures.
Hmm.
And it's from the channel Abundance Awakening.
All right.
So we're going to see what spiritual wisdom might have to say
Okay.
about our wallets.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique approach to personal finance for sure.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think one of the most interesting things I found
Yeah.
is that it goes beyond like just the practical tips.
Okay.
It really dives into this idea that debt isn't just about the numbers,
Mm.
but it could actually be a sign of a spiritual struggle.
Okay, so it's not just about budgeting. It's about like battling unseen forces that are
Yeah.
affecting our finances.
Yeah.
They even talk about dreams being warnings. Like if you dream of going back to your childhood home,
Okay.
or if you're handling dirty money in your dream,
Oh.
or you're running after a thief,
Hmm.
those are supposed to be red flags
Interesting.
about your finances.
Yeah, whether or not you buy into like the literal interpretation of dreams,
Right.
I think it does make you think about those gut feelings we get about money.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a dream that just felt connected to your financial anxieties?
Totally.
Okay.
I think we all have those weird dreams that kind of stick with you.
Yeah.
But to think that they could be connected to finances
Yeah.
is, that's definitely new territory for me.
Well, the video is saying that these could be more than just random anxieties.
Okay.
It's really framing this idea of debt as something that has a spiritual root,
Wow.
almost like there's a battle happening on a level we don't always see.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So how do we fight back against this like spiritual debt?
Yeah.
The video really seems to lean heavily on this idea of God being the ultimate provider.
Mm-hmm.
They quote verses like Psalm 121.1 to 2. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth.
Yeah, and that's really the core message here.
Mm-hmm.
It's about shifting your reliance away from just human effort and more towards
Right.
trusting in God.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just about passively waiting for a miracle.
Right.
Psalm 72.1214 is also highlighted,
Okay.
which talks about God's care for the poor and the oppressed.
Okay.
But even that verse implies that action is still needed
Right.
to break free.
Yeah. It's not just about sitting back and praying.
Right.
The video actually encourages a very specific action.
Oh.
They want you to write down every single debt you have, like the exact amounts,
Okay.
as a way of surrendering them to God.
So it's almost like facing those scary numbers head on.
Right. Yeah, it's more than just a budgeting exercise. It's
Mhm.
about acknowledging the weight of those debts.
Okay.
Not just financially, but maybe emotionally or spiritually too.
Okay.
And then consciously choosing to release them.
Right.
There's a psychological element at play there,
Mm-hmm.
even if
Okay.
you're not coming at it from a faith perspective. Okay, so we have this really interesting blend of practical and spiritual advice.
Yeah.
And then the video goes really deep into the power of Scripture.
Right.
They walk through all these specific verses.
Mm-hmm.
They even give you tailored prayers for your different financial woes.
It's like a scriptural toolkit for tackling your money problems.
Okay.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
One of the key verses they highlight is Deuteronomy 28.1.
Okay.
The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season and to bless all the work of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none.
Okay. So that's clearly about abundance and prosperity.
Yeah.
But it also hints at being financially responsible, right?
Right.
Like if you're going to lend to nations,
Yeah.
you got to have your own finances in order.
Exactly. It's not just about receiving blessings,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also about managing them wisely.
Okay.
And that idea is actually very much in line with a lot of modern financial advice. You know, build wealth so you can be in a position to help others.
Okay. So it's not just about praying for a windfall. It's about aligning yourself with these principles of financial responsibility.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
The video goes on to talk about Philippians 4.6.
Okay.
Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God.
So that's about dealing with the worry and the stress that comes along with finances,
Mm-hmm.
but it also emphasizes gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Being thankful for what you do have,
Yeah.
even while you're working towards something better.
That's a really key point.
Yeah.
And then there's Philippians 4.9,
Yeah.
which is all about aligning your actions with God's word. It suggests that finding that alignment brings a sense of peace,
Right.
which, let's be honest,
Yeah.
most of us could use a little bit of that when it comes to our finances.
It's like saying that peace comes from knowing you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Right. Both financially and
Yes,
spiritually.
exactly. Now, the video doesn't shy away from those stories
Right.
of seemingly impossible financial miracles either.
Oh, yeah.
They bring up the story of Jesus telling Peter
Uh-huh.
to find a coin in a fish's mouth to pay their taxes.
That one always blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's just like this reminder that sometimes solutions can come from the most unexpected places.
Right. But even with that emphasis on miracles,
Mm.
the video also stresses the sowing and reaping principle.
Okay.
It's not just about hoping for a sudden windfall.
Mm-hmm.
It's about taking these small steps of faith,
Okay.
even if you don't have much to work with right now.
So it's about planting those seeds
yes.
of financial responsibility, even if they seem small,
Exactly.
and trusting that they'll eventually grow into something bigger.
And that's where I think this approach gets really interesting, because even if you're not coming at it from a purely faith-based perspective,
Yeah.
that idea of consistent small actions
Right.
leading to big results,
Mm-hmm.
that's solid financial advice.
It's about shifting your mindset
Yeah.
from one of scarcity to one of possibility.
Exactly.
So it's about taking control of your finances,
Mhm.
but also having faith
Yeah,
that things will work out.
that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
It's that combination of action and belief
Okay.
that seems to be at the heart of this approach.
But there's another layer to this too,
Yeah.
right? The video talks about breaking these spiritual strongholds
Right.
that can keep people trapped in these debt cycles,
hmm
even when they're trying their best to get out.
That's a really interesting concept.
It is.
It suggests that maybe there are unseen forces at play. Things like limiting beliefs
Okay.
or negative self-talk
Right.
that can sabotage our financial efforts.
So it's not just bad luck or external factors.
Yeah.
Maybe it's these internal blocks
Right.
we need to address.
And the video suggests that prayer can be a powerful tool
Okay.
for breaking down these barriers. It's about recognizing those negative thought patterns
Mm-hmm.
and consciously choosing to replace them
Right.
with positive affirmations and faith-based beliefs.
It's almost like rewiring your brain for financial success, but from a spiritual angle.
Right. And that's where this whole approach starts to go beyond
Mm.
just traditional personal finance advice. It's acknowledging the power of our thoughts and beliefs
Right.
in shaping our financial reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's suggesting that prayer can be a way to
yes.
tap into a higher power for support and guidance in this process.
So it's not just about managing your money, it's about managing your mindset as well.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that our thoughts and beliefs
Yeah.
have a direct impact on our actions and ultimately our outcomes.
And that's a really powerful concept,
Yeah,
even if you're not particularly religious.
exactly. Because whether you call it prayer or positive affirmations, the underlying principle is the same.
Yeah.
What you focus on expands. If you focus on lack and scarcity,
Right.
you're likely to attract more of that. But if you focus on abundance and possibility,
Yeah.
you open yourself up to a whole different set of outcomes.
So it's about shifting your perspective,
Yeah,
not just your spending habits.
right.
And prayer in this context is presented as a tool
It is.
for making that shift.
That's one way to look at it. And the video goes even deeper
Okay.
into this idea of surrendering your anxieties and trusting in divine timing.
Okay.
It's about letting go of the need to control everything
Right.
and having faith that things will work out in the end.
It's about trusting the process,
Yeah,
even when things feel uncertain, which, let's be honest, is
Yeah.
a pretty big ask
it is.
when it comes to something as stressful as finances.
It takes a lot of faith
Yeah,
to surrender those worries and fears.
totally.
But the idea here is that by releasing that burden,
Okay.
you create space for miracles to happen.
So it's not about ignoring the challenges. It's about approaching them with a different mindset,
Exactly.
one of trust and faith
Right.
rather than fear and scarcity.
And that's a powerful shift because when you approach your finances from a place of fear,
Right.
you tend to make decisions from a place of lack.
Yeah.
But when you approach them from a place of faith and abundance,
Okay.
you're more likely to attract opportunities and make choices that align with your highest good.
So it's not just about changing your financial habits. It's about
Oh.
changing your entire outlook
Yeah.
on money and abundance.
That's the core message here.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that our financial lives are intertwined with
Yeah.
our spiritual well-being,
Right.
and that by nurturing our spiritual connection,
Mm-hmm.
we can unlock greater abundance in all areas of our lives,
Right.
including our finances.
Okay, so we have this combination of practical advice,
Yeah.
spiritual principles, and a whole lot of faith.
Mm-hmm.
But how does this actually translate into action? The video ends with a pretty clear call to action.
It does.
Yeah.
It urges viewers to declare scriptures daily,
Road.
to fast, to pray,
Yeah.
and most importantly, to trust in God's timing.
Okay.
But it's not just about passive prayer.
Right.
It's about integrating those spiritual practices
Mm-hmm.
with practical financial management.
So it's not an either thing.
Right.
It's a both-hand approach.
Exactly.
You're actively seeking divine guidance,
Yeah.
but you're also taking responsibility for your financial choices.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where faith and action intersect.
Right.
And the video seems to be suggesting that this is where true financial transformation can occur.
It's a fascinating concept, even if you don't necessarily subscribe to these specific beliefs.
Absolutely. The video's emphasis on faith gratitude
Mm.
and intentional action can offer really valuable insights,
Right.
regardless of your religious background.
So what are your final thoughts on this deep dive so far?
I think what's most intriguing is this invitation to consider the spiritual dimension of our financial lives.
Right.
It encourages us to look beyond the numbers
Yeah.
and to explore how our beliefs and attitudes towards money
Right.
might be shaping our financial reality.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging me to think about my own financial habits and beliefs in a new light.
And that's the beauty of this approach. It's not just about giving you a set of rules to follow.
Yeah.
It's about inviting you to explore your own relationship with money
Mm-hmm.
on a deeper level.
And for you, our listener, we hope this first part of our deep dive has sparked some new insights for you as well.
Yeah.
Whether or not you embrace these specific beliefs outlined in this video,
Right.
we hope it's prompted you to consider the role your personal faith or spirituality might play
Yeah.
in how you view and manage your finances.
What lessons might you draw from this approach,
Right.
regardless of your background? How might a shift in perspective, combined with intentional action,
Yeah.
help you break free from financial limitations and create a life of greater abundance?
Those are some powerful questions to ponder,
Yeah.
and we'll continue to explore them as we delve deeper into the specific strategies and scriptures outlined in this video.
Right.
So stay tuned.
We've got a lot more to unpack.
Until then, keep those financial wheels turning
Yeah.
and maybe add a little prayer or positive affirmation to the mix.
Definitely.
You never know what miracles might unfold.
Absolutely. It's amazing how this video, weaves personal stories and interpretations of scripture into practical advice,
Yeah.
like a financial pep talk, but with a spiritual twist.
Right. It's really engaging. And one of the things that caught my attention is how they talk about breaking free from this
Oh, yeah.
spirit of poverty
Right.
or mismanagement.
That's a concept that might raise some eyebrows for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth exploring. Because if you think about it, sometimes our financial struggles seem to come from these deeper patterns of thought and behavior.
So you mean it's not just about making a budget or cutting back on expenses.
Yeah.
It's something more fundamental?
Exactly. It's about those underlying beliefs that we hold about money
Okay.
and wealth and even our own worthiness.
Right.
The video suggests that sometimes these beliefs can hold us back, almost like an invisible force keeping us stuck in this cycle of debt or financial struggle.
So how do you tackle that?
Well,
Like, how do you even begin to address that?
the video seems to suggest that prayer is a really powerful tool for addressing these deeper, maybe even subconscious patterns.
Okay. So it's about recognizing the power of our thoughts and our beliefs and using prayer as a way to shift those patterns.
Yeah, it's about consciously choosing to replace those negative thoughts with positive affirmations and faith-based beliefs.
It's like a mental detox
It is.
for your finances.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because even if you're not coming at it from like a purely religious perspective,
Right.
there's a lot of overlap with modern self-help and psychology here.
Absolutely. The emphasis on replacing negative self-talk
Right.
with positive affirmations is a core principle in a lot of personal development programs. And there's growing research on the impact of our mindset
Okay.
on our financial outcomes.
So whether you call it prayer or positive thinking,
Yeah,
the underlying principle is the same.
exactly.
What you focus on expands.
That's it.
Okay.
So if you're focusing on that lack and scarcity,
Right.
you're more likely to attract more of that into your life.
Right. But if you focus on abundance and possibility,
Yeah,
you open yourself up to greater financial opportunities.
that's the essence of it.
Okay.
It's about shifting from a mindset of fear and limitation
Hmm.
to one of faith and abundance.
Okay.
And prayer in this context is presented as a way
Right.
to tap into that higher power and align yourself with those positive beliefs.
So it's not just about like asking for a financial miracle.
Right.
It's about changing your internal dialogue
Yeah.
and the way you view money.
Right. It's about recognizing that our thoughts and beliefs
Mm-hmm.
have a direct impact on our actions
Yeah.
and ultimately our results.
Right.
And prayer, whether you interpret it literally or metaphorically,
Okay.
can be a really powerful tool for transforming those limiting beliefs.
But this video doesn't just focus on the inner work, does it?
No, it doesn't.
They also emphasize the importance of taking practical steps
Absolutely.
toward financial well-being.
That's an important point. It's
Mhm.
not an either thing.
Yeah.
It's a both-hand approach.
Right.
It's about combining faith with action.
Okay.
So while you're working on shifting your mindset and
right.
praying for guidance,
Mm.
you're also taking concrete steps
Yeah.
to manage your money wisely.
So it's like saying, okay, God, I'm doing my part. Now you do yours.
Well, maybe not in those exact words. But the idea is that you're partnering with a higher power
Mm-hmm.
to create the financial reality that you desire.
Okay.
You're aligning your actions with your faith and trusting that the universe will meet you halfway.
But there's also this element of surrender involved too, right?
Yes, there is.
The video talks a lot about letting go of control
Mm.
and trusting in divine timing.
That's a really key part of this approach.
Okay.
Because let's face it, finances can be incredibly stressful.
Totally.
It's easy to get caught up in the worry and the anxiety of it all.
Hmm.
But this video encourages us to let go of that need to control everything
Okay.
and to trust that things will work out in the end.
Which I have to admit is a lot easier said than done, especially when you're facing a mountain of debt
Yeah.
or financial uncertainty.
It takes a lot of faith to surrender those worries and fears.
It does.
But the idea here is that by releasing that burden,
Okay.
you create space for miracles to happen.
So it's not about ignoring the challenges. It's about approaching them with a different mindset,
Exactly.
one of trust and faith rather than fear and scarcity.
And that's a powerful shift.
Yeah.
Because when you approach your finances from a place of fear,
Right.
you tend to make decisions from a place of lack.
Mm-hmm.
But when you approach them from a place of faith and abundance,
Okay.
you're more likely to attract opportunities
Okay.
and to make choices that align with your highest good.
So it's not just about changing your financial habits.
Right.
It's about changing your entire outlook on money and abundance.
That's the core message here.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that our financial lives are intertwined
Yeah.
with our spiritual well-being,
Okay.
and that by nurturing our spiritual connection,
Mm.
we can unlock greater abundance in all areas of our lives,
Right.
including our finances.
Okay. So we've talked about the power of prayer,
Mm-hmm.
the importance of taking practical action,
Right.
the need for surrender and trust. But I'm curious, from your perspective, what are some of the potential pitfalls of this approach?
That's a great question.
Like, what are the red flags to watch out for?
Well, one potential pitfall is the danger of passivity.
Oh,
It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if you just pray hard enough,
right.
the money will magically appear.
Right.
But as we've been discussing, this video really emphasizes that
Mhm.
action is essential.
Yeah.
It's about aligning your actions with your faith, not just sitting back and waiting for a miracle.
So it's important to avoid that like lottery ticket mentality
Yeah,
where you're just hoping for a lucky break
exactly.
instead of taking responsibility for your own well-being.
And that leads to another potential pitfall,
Okay.
which is the danger of guilt and shame.
Mhm.
If you're constantly being told that your financial struggles are a result of your lack of faith
Right.
or spiritual alignment,
Mm-hmm.
that can be incredibly damaging.
It's like saying that if you're not prosperous, it's because you're not praying hard enough or you're not worthy of abundance.
Exactly. And that kind of thinking can lead to a lot of self-blame
Yeah.
and negativity, which is counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to remember that financial struggles are often very complex
Yeah.
and multifaceted.
Right.
There are so many factors that can
Yeah.
contribute to debt or financial hardship.
Yeah.
And it's never fair to blame someone's spiritual beliefs for their financial situation.
So it's about finding that balance between personal responsibility,
Yeah.
but also recognizing that sometimes external factors are at play as well.
Exactly. And it's about approaching this whole topic with compassion and understanding, both for ourselves and for others.
Okay, so we got to be mindful of those potential pitfalls.
We do.
But even with those caveats, there's still a lot to be gained
Oh, absolutely.
from this faith-based approach to finances.
There's something incredibly empowering about tapping into a higher power for support and guidance, and the emphasis on gratitude.
Yeah.
Positive thinking and intentional action.
Can be incredibly transformative,
Yeah.
regardless of your religious beliefs.
It's about recognizing that our financial lives are not just about numbers and spreadsheets,
Right.
but about something much deeper and more meaningful.
And that's where I think this approach can really resonate with people.
Yeah?
It's about aligning our financial goals with our values and using our resources to create a life that's not just prosperous,
Right.
but also fulfilling
Okay.
and aligned with our spiritual beliefs.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where our financial aspirations and our spiritual yearnings intersect.
Exactly. And that's a journey worth exploring.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've talked about the power of prayer and positive thinking, the importance of taking practical action,
Right.
and the need for surrender and trust.
Yeah.
But we've also highlighted some of the potential pitfalls
Right.
to be mindful of
And as always, it's important to take what resonates with you.
and leave the rest.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to finances.
Right.
Or faith, for that matter.
It's true.
But we hope that this exploration has given you some new insights
Yeah.
and maybe even inspired you to think about your own relationship with money in a new light.
And for you, our listener, we invite you to reflect on what we've discussed so far. What resonates with you?
Right.
What challenges your existing beliefs?
Yeah.
And most importantly, how can you apply these principles to your own financial journey, regardless of your spiritual background or beliefs?
Because ultimately, this deep dive is not about telling you what to believe
Right.
or how to manage your money.
Exactly.
It's about empowering you to create a financial life that aligns with your values and supports the life you want to live.
And that's a journey worth taking.
So stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
where we'll wrap up this exploration and leave you with some final thoughts and actionable takeaways.
Oh.
All right, so we've spent this whole deep dive exploring this video that connects faith with finances.
Yeah.
We've looked at the practical side. We've looked at the spiritual side. It's been quite the journey.
It really has. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
From that idea of debt as a potential spiritual struggle to the power of prayer and positive thinking
Right.
and the importance of taking action
Yeah.
while also surrendering to a higher power.
I think what's really struck me is how this video, even though it's coming from a specific religious perspective,
Yeah.
still offers a lot of valuable insights that I think anyone can apply to their financial lives.
Absolutely. The emphasis on gratitude, self-awareness,
Yeah.
taking responsibility for your choices.
Right.
Those are principles that transcend any particular belief system.
Right. It's like they took these ancient spiritual teachings
Yeah.
and translated them into a language that a modern secular audience can really relate to.
And that's what makes this approach so compelling.
Yeah.
It bridges that gap between the spiritual and the practical,
Right.
offering this really holistic framework for achieving financial well-being.
So let's talk about the video's final call to action.
Okay.
It urges viewers to declare scriptures daily, to fast, to pray, and to trust in God's timing.
Right.
But for someone who isn't particularly religious,
Yeah.
how might they interpret or apply those suggestions?
Well, I think it's all about finding the essence of those practices
Okay.
and adapting them to your own personal beliefs or
Yes.
practices. For example, instead of declaring scriptures, you might choose to recite affirmations
Right.
or visualize your desired financial outcomes.
So it's about finding a practice that resonates with you,
Yeah,
that helps you cultivate that sense of faith and trust.
exactly. And fasting in a broader sense could be interpreted as a period of intentional self-discipline or deprivation. Maybe it means cutting back on unnecessary spending
Okay.
or committing to a specific financial goal for a certain period of time.
Like you're creating a structure
Yeah,
that supports your intentions and helps you stay focused.
exactly.
Okay.
And prayer, of course, can be interpreted in many ways.
Yeah.
It could be a form of meditation. It could be journaling
Okay.
or simply connecting with your inner wisdom and intuition.
It's about finding a way to quiet the mind Connect with something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
And tap into that source of guidance and inspiration.
And then finally, trusting in God's timing
Okay.
could be translated as trusting the process,
Yeah.
surrendering to the unknown,
Yeah.
and having faith that things will unfold in the right way at the right time.
It's about letting go of that need to control every aspect of your financial journey.
Recognizing that sometimes the best thing you can do is surrender your worries and anxieties
Right.
and just trust that things will work out in the end.
Which I have to admit can be a really tough concept to embrace,
It is.
especially when it comes to something as tangible and often stressful as money.
Absolutely.
Right.
But the video suggests that this kind of surrender is essential
Okay.
for unlocking true abundance.
Okay.
It's about letting go of the struggle
Mhm.
and allowing yourself to be guided by a higher power.
Ultimately, this video offers a message of hope and empowerment.
It does.
It suggests that we have more control over our financial reality than we might realize.
It reminds us that our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions
Right.
all play a role in shaping our financial outcomes.
Hmm.
And that by aligning ourselves with a higher power and taking inspired action,
Yeah.
we can create a life of greater abundance and fulfillment.
Well, this has been a really enlightening deep dive.
It has.
We've explored a unique perspective on this intersection of faith and finances, and we've unpacked some really powerful principles that anyone can apply to their own financial journey.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I hope our listeners have found it as insightful as we have.
And for you, our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked some new ideas for you,
Yeah.
and maybe even inspired you to think about your own relationship with money in a new light.
Remember, whether you resonate with these specific religious beliefs or not,
Right.
the key takeaway is that your mindset matters. Your beliefs about money, your attitudes towards wealth,
Right.
and your willingness to take action
Yeah.
all play a role in shaping your financial reality.
So we encourage you to explore your own beliefs about money.
Yeah.
What messages did you receive growing up? What limiting beliefs might be holding you back?
Right.
And what steps can you take today to align your finances with your values
Yeah.
to create a life of true abundance?
Those are powerful questions to ponder.
They are.
And as you explore them, remember that you're not alone. There are countless resources available to support you on your financial journey.
Right. Whether it's financial advisors or self-help books
Yeah.
or communities of like-minded individuals.
Exactly.
So keep an open mind, stay curious, and keep seeking guidance.
And most importantly, trust that you have the power
Mm-hmm.
to create the financial reality you desire.
Beautifully said. This has been a truly insightful exploration,
It has.
and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
There's always more to discover when we delve into this intersection
Right.
of spirituality and finances.
It's a rich and rewarding journey.
It is.
Well, for now, we'll leave you with this final thought.
Okay.
Whether you believe in divine intervention or simply the power of your own intentions,
Yeah.
remember that you have the capacity to create positive change in your financial life.
So keep believing, keep taking action,
Right.
and keep trusting in the process.
And until next time, may your finances be blessed with abundance
Yeah.
and aligned with your deepest values.